Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's webinar. Actually, our second webinar with the team with Dirty Clean Food. My name's Emily. I'm the Senior Campaign Lead here at Birchal. And just before I introduce the team, I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land that we are coming to you from today. Birchal's based on the lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and we pay our respects to their elders past, present, and emerging. So you might see some familiar faces if you have joined us for our first webinar. We've got Scott, Christy, and Jay from the Dirty Clean Food team. Excuse me, I've got a bit of a cough going on. Some of you might be a little bit unfamiliar with what equity crowdfunding is, or CSF, but it's a relatively new form of fundraising here in Australia that was developed in 2018, and it allows startups and small businesses to raise capital from a large number of smaller or retail investors, as well as wholesale and sophisticated investors through an online platform such as Birchal. So instead of seeking funding from traditional sources such as banks or venture capitalists, companies can turn to the general public, and often in those cases it's their communities, to raise money in exchange for equity in their business. So Birchal Financial Services is the licensed intermediary for the Dirty Clean Foods offer that is currently live on the platform. And I just want to remind everybody that the information and discussion in this webinar is for informational purposes and should not be considered as advice or a recommendation to invest. So please do your own research and always consider the offer document and general CSF risk warning before investing. If you do need any more information, you can head to birchal.com. So today's session, we're going to go through a little bit of a presentation from the Dirty Clean Food team. It will include some extra information that we didn't have in our first webinar, as the offer is now live, and then we'll switch to a Q&A session. So if you look at the bottom of your Zoom screen, you'll see a little Q&A bubble. And if you have a question during today's session, please pop it in the Q&A box as we go along, and we'll answer this during the Q&A time at the end. We're also recording today's session, so if you do have to jump off early, a recording will be sent around. So enough talking from me. I'm going to hand over to the team.
Thanks, Emily. Welcome, everyone. My name is Jay. I'm CEO of Dirty Clean Food. I'm with Scott and Christy. Scott and Christy, would you like to say a little bit about yourselves before we get going?
You go, Scott.
Hi, everyone. I was going to say after you, Christy. Hello, welcome to the returners and our new faces. My name's Scott. I'm CFO at Dirty Clean Food. Nearing being at the company for 3 to 4 years. So looking forward to getting into any questions you have today, and hopefully we can fill you with some more knowledge about our business.
Thanks, Scott. Hi, everyone. I'm Christy Stewart. I'm the Regenerative Impact Manager for Dirty Clean Food. So I manage our regenerative farm plan process with our farmers, and I'm our first point of contact with our farmers as well. Also do things like manage our tree planting projects. So all of the farm and impact related work that Dirty Clean Food does. And I've been with Dirty Clean Food for 5 years now.
Amazing. Thanks, Scott. Thanks, Christy. I hope something that comes through when you hear from the business and in these kind of presentations, one of the things that's really special about us is our team. We have an amazing team that is very passionately committed to doing something unique in food. And I feel really lucky every day to see the energy in this business. So for some of you on the call, if you've seen the first presentation online, there's going to be a little bit of repeat, but we do have a lot of new information. So I'll try to go through these overview slides relatively quickly because some of you have seen them before. Some of the faces are new, though, so I will say a little bit about the company. First of all, we're off to a great start. We've already passed the minimum investment target in 24 hours, well beyond that. So very excited. It's really humbling and gratifying. So many of the participants are customers. That really warms our hearts. I know we were talking about that yesterday. Friends, customers, the overwhelming majority of the people who've taken us through the first 20% or more of the race. So very humbling to see the support from so many customers, not just placing your orders, but also wanting to be a part of the Dirty Clean Food Region Warrior community. So thank you very much. this is a really special company. I think it's pretty unique. And as I mentioned, it's really about the team. We're foodies. We care about our community. We care about our planet. We care about regenerative farming. And excuse me. And, you know, one of the things that we got together and binds us together from a passion and motivation standpoint is, you know, it's really difficult seeing so much news today about how the environment is being affected and climate change. And our company really wanted to start something right here in our community to do something about this. And one of the things that we observed, and that I think a lot of people don't know, is that food plays such a big role in climate change. The food industry is something that we can make decisions about every day, and how we eat and how we purchase and the decisions we make. But yeah, it's food industry, 30% of global emissions, 70% of biodiversity loss. And in a place like Western Australia, which is one of the hotspots of biodiversity, this is really something we need to change. And of course, big food is responsible for, in our opinion, quite a bit of the overprocessed food that has no taste or bad taste. So we got together. We think this is not just something that is upsetting, but it's an opportunity. We think we have a better way, and that's why we built Dirty Clean Food. We make it easy. We want to make it convenient and easy for people to buy food that they can feel good about eating and good about purchasing. Something that we want for us and something that we want for our communities. Really good food. And we get this really good food from really amazing people. These are some of our actual regenerative farming partners in WA. You know, we work on a platform of, we host a platform of family farms using regenerative agriculture and helping them come to market through our brand. So this means that regenerative farming means they're farming it a holistic way. It means that there are processes in place, and Christy can tell you a lot about this in the Q&A if you'd like, but they're really, the key tenets are, building soil health, improving farming in a way that improves biodiversity, and farming in a way that improves the water cycle. So really considering the microclimate on farm and how the water moves through that, through our landscapes, are the key tenets. A lot of people ask how we got the name Dirty Clean Food. The truth is we engaged, an ad agency, but when we think about an amazing ad agency, Meerkats in Perth, but when we think about, why Dirty Clean Food, it's really about this message of, we really want to feed the dirt, not the plants. We really want to build healthy soils and dirt in our communities, and we think that's going to have long-term benefits. So, and then obviously we take this amazing food grown by amazing people, and we bring it to you wherever you go, wherever you eat. We'll bring it to your house. We'll bring it to your favorite independent grocery. We'll take it to your favorite restaurant. And it's really good. We're in 40% of the top 100 restaurants in WA. So this is delicious food. You can taste the difference. If you don't believe me, shameless plug, use this offer code and place an order. If you're not in Western Australia, go ahead and send a gift to someone who who lives here. So quickly on who am I? I'm sure you can all hear my accent. Look, I literally moved to this country because I fell in love with the red dirt and the soils. I still haven't changed this picture. That is actually Tasmania, Cradle Mountain. I fell in love with the whole country, but I liked Western Australia the most. It's just so hard to get family photos when you're traveling around with everyone in it. But and why do I think that I can take this for-profit, for-purpose business with this amazing team and generate positive returns? Look, I'm a startup junkie. I've spent a lot of time in food startups and in logistics and delivery startups. I love building a business. I know we can do this. We're very close to this company. I also have over 10 years of work on the buy side in investment finance in New York. So planning on being responsible with our funds and focusing on generating cash flow that we can invest in growth and impact and positive returns. I I think it's also the right time. This is a business that a lot of people thought was niche in 2019, but really the trends are showing that people are paying a lot more attention to environmentally and socially responsible aspects of their products as they make purchasing decisions. So I think we're the right brand in the right space at the right time. The regenerative agriculture market is big. It's expected to be $23.8 billion by 2030, but it could be a lot bigger. If our vision is that regenerative agriculture is in an early stage similar to the beginning of the organic food movement, and that eventually there will be some iteration where organic and regenerative go hand in hand, meaning that this could be multi-hundreds of billions of dollars possible in the future. So certainly we think this is a big trend, a big market. We're starting in our community, improving our model before obviously we talk about big global numbers. Yeah, look, why do I think we're the right brand at the right time? There's no greenwashing here. We are making real impact. We are transparent. We are authentic. We make real difference. You can drive and go see in our communities and in our landscapes. We have a brand that is at the leading edge of all this stuff. So we encourage the movement, and we want to lead it. I've talked a lot about impact and about our consumer message. This is also a for-profit endeavor. So I'll take you through some of our goals and achievements. Look, I think demand has been proven. We have definitely shown that consumers will pay a fair price for food security, for local family farms, for regenerative produce sold to them wherever they eat. Over 1 million units sold in our business, 36 million cumulative revenues, over 100,000 orders. Certainly something we're proud of and something we hope to grow. This is a snapshot of how our revenue has grown. We've certainly been embraced by customers right from the beginning. You can see here, we want to be transparent. 2024 is not finalized, but we're expecting a flat to slightly down year, but overall our growth trends are strong, and certainly the performance has been exciting since myself and the team took it private. In terms of, I talked a little bit about being a good steward of the cash. We've had a really consistent focus for several quarters now on reducing the cash burn, and I think we're really close to generating some positive cash flow. So it's a laser focus on the team. Everyone is working together. We know that if we want to have impact, we have to have a sustainable financial business as well, and we're closing in on profitability and key targets here. Looking at why this has happened, obviously margins influence cash flow, and we've really done a good job improving the margin structure of the business over the last couple of years. Showing you here estimate of Q4 24 that ends in June, so pretty good margin expansion, or I guess decreasing loss in this time period. We're committed to having this number not have brackets around it. People have asked me a lot about what the business looks like. Listen, the core of our business is direct to consumer. It's making that personal connection. These are the customers who love Dirty Clean Food and tell their friends about it. We have personal interactions. We get to share from a broader range of ethical food products when we deliver to homes. We also love our retail business. It's grown really fast. It's a strong business, and we want to be in shops. We think independent groceries are our friends, not competition. Restaurant is a great part of the business. It is critical for many reasons. We want to keep that business stable and improve it, and we want to be loyal to our existing customers and grow that with more great restaurants, so you can enjoy that when you dine out. And export has been a really big well, it's a small part of the business, but we're very excited about it. It's a business with large orders and predictable cash flow margins, so that's exciting. So I think when we talk about this business being cash flow positive and in our hopes, seeing this mix play out like this is what we're hoping to happen. I've had several questions about the valuation of the offering. The valuation's a little over $10 million Australian at the pre-money level. That includes the conversion of some venture debt that we have. I think that's a pretty fair price. We did not want to, as you can see, so what you're looking at is a list of comparable companies that we've selected. So certainly some bias, but what I'm trying to show you is, hey, these are companies that we either admire or we think are peers who have recently raised money, or they're listed, and these are the kind of valuations on a price to sales metric. Price to sales is appropriate, I think, given the profitability status of a lot of these companies and ourselves. And we're intentionally being at a discount to this because we are targeting, we're inviting our customers to join. And we think this is a fair valuation. So certainly excited to answer any questions about that. But we think this is a fair price that leaves opportunities for us and our investors to benefit if we succeed. And hopefully one day we get a valuation like some of these very large successful companies. So key points as we move into questions. Hey, our product is delicious. You can taste the difference of regen farming. Our business is really about authenticity and connecting consumers, and we're doing it really well. We're creating genuine impact that you should feel good about when you support the business, and that is supported by grants with Common Land. So it's not all just our funds. We have an annual grant from them that helps us make more of the impact work we do. And what we've done here, I think, is really proven that in Perth, initially, in Western Australia, that, hey, there is another way to buy food, and it can work, and people want to buy it. And we want to finish the job here and then explore how to take this business globally. So with the proceeds from this raise, we will definitely be exploring that. I'd now like to stop chatting and open the call up for additional questions. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Jay. That was awesome. So what have you learned from getting the new shareholders on board with over 100 new shareholders now? Has anybody reached out to you, and what do you think the main consensus is behind the shareholders in terms of their excitement levels?
Look, we've been overwhelmed with positivity and love from most of the, I would say, at least last time I checked, we hit our minimum targets in less than 10 hours before I went to sleep, and we're well past that today. And when I looked at who's invested, it's so exciting to see so many customers on this list, and I think it's mostly Western Australian residents, WA residents here, which basically tells me we have a bunch of really passionate customers who want this brand to succeed, and it's really heartwarming. I know to me, and I know to Scott and Christy.
Awesome, thank you. We had a lot of questions we didn't get to in the last Q&A, so I might go through a few of those if we can. So do you get to actually test the nutritional value of your products compared to others in the market?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the answer is yes, we have done some testing, particularly on our livestock products. We did release some data along with our former parent company, Wide Open Agriculture, in our regeneration report. That's available on our website. Also, that's a project that is ongoing. You can't just, we were advised that a few tests is not enough to make claims publicly. So we've released the data we have, and we have more tests planned for this year. Christy, do you have anything you want to add on general difference between the health of the kinds of products in our system versus conventional food?
Yeah, thanks for that, Jay. I think you hit the nail on the head there with saying we need to continue with the testing to be able to make the claim. So we really want those data points to be able to prove that the food's better for you. So most of what we have from our customers so far is anecdotal. So some people who have liver issues are saying that they can eat our meat and they're not reacting, whereas they usually react to other meat. But generally, I guess with beef and lamb, grass-fed is going to give you a higher omega-3 to 6 ratio and a higher level of linoleic acid. And with our pork and our chicken being pasture-raised, the animals living out on pasture for their entire lives mean that they're eating a lot of grass too. So you're getting a lot of the beta-carotene in their meat that you wouldn't get from chicken and pork from that's raised in a shed conventionally. But yeah, very exciting space, and we look forward to keep working on this with our farmers too.
Yeah, I think we'll definitely be continuing that project. So it's literally a food testing project. One of the things that I think, if you pulling away from actual data, if you just think about it intuitively, when you think about a feedlot animal, whichever animal Christy was talking about, there is an intense feeding process that's grain heavy. So in the United States, it's corn. Here, it's usually wheat, and this grain intensive process is really creating sort of a mono input into these animals, as opposed to in the free range environment where there's much more variety of what kinds of foods they're interacting with, and so I think you're going to get, and grain and corn are not natural things that this animal eats. So I think you're going to get a much more, I think we're going to have really positive results when we show that.
Thank you. That's really interesting. So how much can any individual investor actually put in this round of fundraising?
Scott, I will let you answer that. I do know it depends on whether or not you're a sophisticated or wholesale investor or not.
Yeah, so minimum amount is set at $250, and then anything over the 10 grand threshold, you need to be considered a sophisticated investor. So there's a little bit more information you need to provide before you invest in amounts greater than that level. I think we've set our max amount at 100 grand for the round. So that's a little bit of information there.
Great, thank you. So of your digital customers, roughly what percentage are subscription or recurring customers?
I'm happy to take this one,
Yep.
Jay. So I think we need to be clear that subscription, I think generally when this question comes, when someone might ask it, they think subscription is in recurring customers. We have recurring customers, and we also have customers that are subscribers. So essentially our subscriptions strictly represent possibly about 20% of our sales, 20 to 25% of our sales per month. But we have a significant amount of more ongoing kind of regular customers than the strict subscribers per se. Now, we've also said in our offer letter, we want to invest in IT upgrades to enhance the user experience. And one of this, or this kind of points to the subscriptions exactly. So currently, to subscribe, you can't actually subscribe to select all of our products because there's certain limitations involved in that through online. So ideally, with this money from Birchal, we want to make that user experience a lot more seamless and give people more ability to choose more products and have more flexibility when you actually subscribe. So we would expect that number to increase and hopefully get more in line when people have more ability to select our full suite of products through subscriptions. But hopefully that provides a little bit of information.
Speaking of subscriptions, what percentage of your revenue currently comes from subscriptions?
So that was so circa our online business represents circa 40% of our revenue currently, and of that 40%, 20% of that amount is subscriptions per se. But like I've mentioned before, the subscriptions and regular customers, what some people might group as one. It's a little bit different, but our regular customers would more or less represent probably 50 to 60% of our online sales.
Great, thank you. So have you identified other global markets where consumers are demanding regenerative products to be exported from Australia?
Yeah, so we've begun. So we've had some success, but I would call it limited exporting to date. In the past, there was an oat milk product line which we were able to have sold in about 5 countries. More recently, our focus has been on sort of sticking with the core of what we do, and the beef and lamb has had a fair amount of success recently in Singapore, and it looks like we'll have some success in a couple of other countries in Asia, and some in the GCC.
Awesome, thank you. So obviously climate change is a really huge impact on farmers, and something that I know a lot of farmers are looking at in terms of their strategy moving forward. What's your strategy for if it does affect the farmers that you work with?
Yeah, so it already is, and it has been for years and years. So I guess the main thing that we're doing with our farmers is implementing regenerative agriculture, because by doing that, you're actually setting up a much more resilient system that is going to be able to weather droughts and storms much more than a conventional system. So depending on what kind of farm, so we've got farmers that supply beef, lamb, pork, chicken, and oats. So depending on where the farm is and what they supply, their strategies are a bit different, but largely it's all around increasing diversity and increasing carbon in the soil. So the more carbon you sequester, the more the soil is going to hold on to nutrients and water like a sponge. So the more resilient you're going to be, particularly in a drought environment, which is the most relevant to us in the southwest of WA. But it also helps with flooding as well. So it also provides drainage, almost the opposite of holding water like a sponge. So it's really, I think, gives us a really hopeful feeling for the future with Regen Ag, because I do feel like it is the one thing that we can be doing to work with our farmers to make their farms, but also their businesses, more resilient. So they're going to be able to pass down those farms to their children in the future. So we're working with them to set up long-term family farms.
Brilliant, thank you. So speaking of farmers, obviously your customer base is just in WA at this time. Are your farmers just in WA?
Yes, they are. Yep. So our most northern farmer at the moment is at Bunteen in the northern wheat belt, and I guess the southeastern would be Green Range, just down east of Albany, and they're all sort of scattered in between, but mostly in the Great Southern and Southwest regions.
So I know you're raising funds to expand into other regions. What's the first region that you're targeting?
Yeah, what we'd like to do first is reach cash flow positive, recurring free cash flow before making sort of risky investments to expand. These funds will help us do that quickly, I hope. And so the first thing we'll do is we'll expand within WA. So basically, we'll test how to expand by going into more rural and less populated areas where it's hard to get local high quality food oftentimes. And so we'll expand our core in this region. Certainly a town we want to focus on is it's a pretty reasonably big town, but it's outside of our delivery range now, the Albany, Denmark area. We cover a couple of stores and restaurants down there, but we have some great farmers and farming partners in that region, and they can't ask their friends to get home delivery, and we really want to expand to there. In terms of, I think the person asking the question was probably saying, where would you expand outside of Western Australia? And I think what we want to do is take a partnership-based approach. So rather than saying, okay, we're going to go to Melbourne, it's going to be $5 million, let's do another crowdfund. We're going to say that we're going to build a toolkit and an IP stack, which we will then take to partners in several cities. some of them in Australia, some of them in Europe, with introductions through Common Land in Europe. And we'll provide an IP stack for how to do this, what we do, why, because there's been many kind of versions of a farm to fridge business around the world, and when people, and usually they go bust. So when people hear about how close we are to making it work at scale, there's a lot of interest, because if you heard, hey, this amazing thing exists in Perth, I'd like that in my city, that's a common response. So we'll be going with a partner-based approach where I don't want to call it a franchise because I don't like that word, but where we come in with a licensed and strategic partner who has the network in that city and funds, and we share kind of a best practices, both from operational regenerative practices, as well as all of the different softwares we use, so that we don't even have an IT person here at this company. So I think we have a lot we can offer to someone trying to have a dirty, clean food like business in other places.
Brilliant. That's really exciting. So what have you done recently to reduce your spend and improve margins?
So I'll tackle this one, Jay. So we'll start on margins. So margins, per the document, we've increased from just over 6% to around about 15 or just over, which is fantastic improvement from 23 to 24 year. We've had increased efficiencies from our meat processing room, which is our internal meat processing room that's now been running for almost 2 years. So we've invested in equipment there. That's saved on labour, which has been great. We've had favourable livestock price movements over that period. Beef, specifically in 2023, reached astronomical heights per kilo. So that kind of trended back towards our expectations and where we'd like to live in regards to that. We've also had other variable labour reductions through process and system enhancements. So that's essentially above the line or our margin improvements, which have contributed to our cost reduction below the line as well. And specifically below the line, we're running a pretty low marketing expenditure, A&P or selling expense, people would call it. We currently run in the realm of around 10 to 12% of our total cost base. In 2023, we were virtually double that, just over double. So we've significantly reduced marketing expenditure there. And in 2023, we invested heavily in oat milk, and that's kind of subsided for 2024. And we are probably below what you would expect in industry average for selling and marketing expenses as well. So with additional money, we do expect to see that increase, and the stats around the uplift from investing through channels like Meta and Google are quite good. So we're quite optimistic about what that might look like moving forward. We've had a reduction in write-off costs as well through better visibility of our stock through system enhancements. So that's been another kind of improvement we've had below the line. And then just a real cash focus on non-critical operations costs that as we grew, we maybe lost sight of slightly, but we've just had a really laser focus on those costs and what we don't need to spend. And that's all contributed to what is a very favourable reduction year on year.
Great, thank you. Can you give a bit of an overview into how big your team is at the moment, and if you're looking to expand after the raise is completed?
Yes, we're about 35 people. That includes both full-time employees, desk-based employees, as well as folks who are part-time or casual, helping make deliveries in the warehouse. We have a nice mix of employees. I think that we measure this on basically we measure this on a per order basis. So we would like to hire more if growth warrants it. We might make a hire or two from this proceeds from this raise if we're close to the top of our end to help support some of the things we want to do. But in general, we have a really as the standalone company, we've really embraced per order economics and engine room return, and so that dictates the leeway you have to add to the casual workforce, and that'll be how it works. We're still driving to reach positive cash flow, so that's still the focus. Prove it in Perth and expand beyond. So I think we will make some more investments once we're in the black, but until then, we'll probably add one or two positions, because we've really, there are some opportunities we want to chase, and then keep the casual workforce aligned to our sales.
Great, thank you. If shareholders want to get involved and, put their ideas forward or be heard by the team, how can they do that?
Oh my gosh, I would really encourage email investors@dirtycleanfood.au if it's an investor question, and it's kind of more in the finance area. Email me. It's jay@dirtycleanfood.com.au, and if you want to ask me something. And we're always looking for introductions, product ideas. Since so many people in this raise are customers, please let us know, because a lot of what you want us to have, because a lot of times we can actually make that happen when we just are waiting for some kind of evidence that someone wants it. So we're, I think it was over 90% of the raise so far has been people who seem to be customers or friends of customers. So yeah, let us know. We'll do our best.
Amazing to hear. And going forward, once the round is closed, how often do you intend on sharing updates about the business with investors?
Scott, I'm going to let you answer that if you don't mind, but I'll just add that we're going to release an annual impact report, which we're going to continue to call the regeneration report. So that'll be once a year, and it'll be really focused on the measurements and actions of our full return strategy. We'll release an annual report with numbers, and we'll likely release a mid-year update that is probably unaudited, but will have a general sense of where we're going. Scott, I'll let you add some extra details.
Thanks, Jay. That's correct. So the annual report, which would be unaudited, that'll be provided to the investors every year. The regen report, as Jay suggested, and then biannually, we'll produce some type of financial update. It's not a consolidated set of financial statements, but it'll be key financial metrics, just so everyone knows that we're on track biannually before the yearly financial statements come with a little bit more commentary. But at this stage, that's our plan.
Brilliant. Thank you. What inspired your investor awards for this offer?
We have a great team. We talked about this a lot, actually, and we wanted to give some cool swag, and we wanted to have some fun experiential things like the table dinner. So I think, and then we wanted to have some aspects of it relate to our upcoming wine category and relate to some of the activities we've been doing recently. So we did a farm to table dinner at a regenerative winery that you can drive to from Perth, and it's delicious food and delicious wine. A great partner. So I think we really want to just connect with some of the things we're excited about internally and make sure that they were fun and big enough to really give a nice experience.
Amazing. I'm a little bit jealous of everybody over in WA that they get to experience all of this. It sounds unreal. So going forward, if others want to encourage people to get involved in this offer, how do you suggest that they do that?
Oh, please tell your friends, tell your network. You can provide the link to Birchal, and if you forget that, just send it over to investors@dirtycleanfood.com.au, and we'll happily follow up. Right now, we're paying a lot of attention to that email address. So if you have any if you have any questions, we're checking it, pretty quickly. We're certainly on the Birchal site quickly, pretty regularly as well, because if people haven't pre-registered through the EOI, they have to sort of ask for permission to get admitted. So, we're looking at that communication channel pretty quickly, because we certainly want to allow people to participate.
Awesome, thank you. I think we've gone through all of the questions for today. I want to say thank you so much for your time from the team. I mean, you've done a second one now because there have been so many questions. So thank you so much. And I'll encourage everybody, if you do have any more questions for the team, please feel free to reach out via the Birchal platform. And if you've got any questions for Birchal, please reach out. And thank you for everybody for coming on today and for all of your amazing questions, and really excited to see what the next 2 weeks looks like for the offer.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.